Hey, Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way, one of the nation's largest field marketing organizations that helps independent agents achieve a 6- and 7-figure income with the systems and strategies that I'm going to talk about with you today. Welcome back to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. I want to talk for a few minutes about the game plan. Anything you do in life has to have a vision, has to have a plan, and when you map out the plan, those things become habits, rituals, and routines. So for a minute, when you think about, first of all, I've talked a lot about a dream board, and your dream needs to be your why, and we've talked about why on this episode as well. So first of all, sit down and be like, okay, what do I want? Is it the house? Is it the RV? Is it, you want time and freedom? Do you want to be able to retire at 40? Get that vision. So, and that allows you to look beyond the horizon. And I've heard many times that dream board or that vision, you have to want it as bad as you want oxygen. So if it's not that bad, you need to dream bigger. You need to be like, okay, if you don't want it as bad as you want oxygen, then you need to dream bigger. And my daughter was talking to my wife here a little while back, and my wife was saying, I just don't know how people have time to do this and that. And my daughter came back and said it very simply and eloquently. She's like, Mom, if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. And that's what you have to have. You have to want it as bad as you want oxygen. So one is the dream board. But with the dream board, you have to have a goal. And let's say I'm in an industry where I've never been. I know nothing about it. I'm in my mid 40s, or I'm in mid 20s, or whatever it is, whatever age you're at. Maybe you're 60 and you're ready to make a change, right? Okay, look at the opportunity. Once you've identified the opportunity, you've made the dream board, then what I would suggest you do is talk to some people that are in that industry and say, well, how have you done it? And you're going to get lots of opinions. You're going to get people that are tell you it's not going to work. They're going to get the negative Nellies, right? And those are always fun because they're the ones that are still in the same situation they are today when they were in high school, right? But I want to talk to the successful people in the industry I want to go into. Let's say that I want to, start my own social media channel, or let's say I want to start my own insurance agency, which I did, or I want to get into mortgages or real estate. All great, right? But talk to those individuals that are successful and have been successful, and take them to lunch. Have a conversation about what's good, what's bad, what are the pitfalls, and with all of that, you make the decision. What I mean by that is don't let somebody else tell you that it's not possible, but you make the decision. One, do you want to do it? So go back and say, am I committed or am I interested? Because if you're committed, you're going to want it as bad as you want oxygen. You're going to do whatever it takes. So I've talked to the individual people out there that have done it before. And then I come up with a game plan. So when I started, a couple things I did is I sat down with my mentor, my manager, and he says, hey, Ty, you need to make $150 a day. I'm like, $150 a day? You got to be kidding me. All right, I wrote it down. He says, Ty, you need to do 20 approaches. I'm like, 20 approaches, what's that? He's like, well, an approach could be talking to a dental office, a CPA. It could be knocking on someone's door with the lead card you got. It could be talking to somebody in an elevator. It could be talking to the lady at the grocery store. It could be somebody you're helping across the street, whatever. You need to do 20 approaches. You need to tell 20 people a day who you are and what you do. Then with that, he says you need to do 5 presentations a day. And I'm like, 5 presentations, 20 approaches, 150 leads. And then he's like, you got to do it from sun up to sundown. He didn't say 9 to 5. He said sun up to sundown. That was my game plan. All except for Monday morning meetings was a mandatory, and I needed to be there from 8 to 10. You always got to spend the time in training and learning about either products and or how to overcome objections or work on the skill set you're trying to improve on. So I got my dream board. I got my action plan or my action items for the week, right? And then I have to go and do. And this is where it's really difficult for people. It's really to get consumed with just stuff. You know, I got to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. So you have to go back and say, am I committed? Am I interested? Well, I'm committed, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do my 150 dials. And guess what? Over time, all of those things, one, it becomes easier. Two, that routine becomes a habit. And then when at the end of the habit, it becomes a ritual. You know, I did it so much for so long that all of the fear, all of the anxiety, all of the doubt didn't bother me a bit. Man, I'd get on the phone and I'm like, wow, my $150 are done. Wow, I did my 20 approaches. Wow, I did my 5 appointments for the day. And guess what? All of that, the end goal was 20 apps a month. And I can tell you without a doubt, when I stuck to the plan, when I stuck to all of those little action items I did, I either exceeded or I blew my goal out of the water every single month. And with that game plan, over time, as I was able to perfect it and get better, because guess what? My 150 dials, I got better. So then I reduced my 150 dials to 50. I reduced my appointments from, or my approaches from 20 to 10. And over time, I got so good at what I was doing that I was more efficient and effective. And I would hit my goal quicker and faster. So then over time, guess what had to happen? I had to get a bigger dream board. I had to get bigger goals because it became easy. Look at any type of sport out there. Anybody that is in a professional sport, they improve each and every day. They don't just say, okay, I've done X and that's good enough. Guess what? They go back to what they know, the basics, the fundamentals. So here's what happens also when I've talked to somebody about coming. So we've got a dream board, we got a game plan, we create action, then they start having success. And the success comes and they're like, oh, this is great, this is wonderful. They start getting a paycheck. They start to get more time and freedom. And then usually what happens is a few years in or a few months in, they forget what it took to get to where they're at. And they start struggling and they drop down and they're like, Ty, I'm just not having success. And I remind them, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? We go back to the basics and fundamentals. They're still there. People say all the time, sales is a numbers game. It sure is. And you know what? But it gets easier and better, quicker and faster. And you become more efficient the more you do it. And you got to remind yourself, the life as an entrepreneur, there's nobody holding your hand. There's nobody telling you got to get out of bed. There's nobody telling you got to make one more call. There's nobody telling you that. You have to want it more than you want oxygen. And you have to be committed, not just interested. Because it's easy to come up with excuses. I can come up with all excuses saying why I don't want to do something. Oh, I'm sick. I got to run to the post office. I need to do groceries. I need to clean the house. Oh, I need to do. You could come up with excuses all day, every day, but eliminate them. And what happens is you continue to eliminate excuses. All those habits and rituals and routines become second nature. If you're going to succeed in achieving your dreams and your goals, you have to want it more than you want oxygen. Practice those things. And then one thing that I like to do is have an accountability partner. It's just that extra little hand. But your accountability partner, he may tell you hard things. He may say something you don't like to hear. But, don't ask somebody to be your accountability partner and then get mad or offended because you asked them to hold you accountable. When you're in business for yourself as an entrepreneur, if you're starting a business from scratch, if you decided to, whatever it is, know that the person that you stand next to or the person that you want to, or you look up to, they were in your shoes or similar to where you're at. They just did whatever it took to succeed. And you have to be willing to do the same. There's no easy way. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Some people aren't meant to be entrepreneurs, and that's okay. Some people are comfortable with, a paycheck, working 9 to 5, and then when 5 o'clock turns around, they shut their phone off, they go home, and they don't want to think about work. But for me, I want to build a legacy. For me, I want to help change people's lives. For me, I want to serve. And how I've been able to do that is through sales. As I sell, I'm able to serve, and I'm able to give back, and I'm able to make an impact in people's lives that I couldn't even dream of. If you listen to my podcast on a regular basis, if you look at the text and all of the inspiration I get from the people around me, it warms my soul, it warms my heart. And and that's what drives me. I want them to succeed. I want them to stay committed. What a wonderful thing we get to do in this life is to have agency. I get to choose. You get to choose for yourself as well. But you have to want it more than you want oxygen. You have to want it more than you want oxygen. And you will succeed. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Ty Brady Way. Subscribe. Send this to your friends, your family, and your loved ones. All of these things I don't charge people to listen to these. I'm not expecting people to, pay me thousands and thousands of dollars. It's free content. The content is yours to share. Please share it. Inspire someone's life today. Be kind. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. And let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Faith Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.